How you doing, everybody? My name is Pastor Patrick Graham. I am the Children's Ministries leader and Youth Director of the Allegheny East Conference, and this is, you know who she is.
Oriane Claremont, and I am the action behind
Right,
the director.
Right, who thinks she's my boss, and I don't want anyone to email me in who the real boss is. I'm the real boss, so I just want everybody to know that.
At least for the next hour.
At least, at least for the hour. Listen, we're just so grateful that we had the opportunity to team up with our media team, who are helping us put this together. We want to come before our constituents at least once a month, or as if something heavy comes along, because we do have something coming up later on where we want to bring just something on OSHKOSH by itself. Right. So we're here together, and we want to spend an hour with you. I just want to let you know that we're going to be giving a lot of information right now. And as the information is being given, we're giving at least maybe about a half an hour. Mm-hmm. Is that where we're at?
Yeah, that's good.
We're going to give about a half an hour to where we will take live questions. All we're asking you to do is to be able to let us know who you are, where you're from, which church that you go to, etc., so that we could be able to help out. So we're planning on doing this every month.
At least once a month.
At least.
Unless we have something important to share, we will come back again within the month.
One of the things that I think is very important, though, is so that they'll know when we're going to do this. Something could come up in the next 2 weeks or so. So remember that we want them to get our newsletters, and we also want you all to be able to sign in so that we can get in contact with all of our workers from children's ministries, Bible Bowl. We're gonna set them all up. But
everybody.
we just want everybody to be included on these calls, so that we all will get the information that we need. Not only that, but we're also planning on bringing risk management in.
Everybody asking questions about the passenger bus, the 10, 15, 12, which one they should use. Some people are also asking questions dealing with our Verified volunteers.
We used to be Shield of Vulnerable. Now it's verified volunteers. And there are a lot of questions that's being asked as far as that is concerned with our young people.
Let me just throw something here about verified volunteers. What our department is doing now is we're going to develop cards. We've gotten authorization from the executive committee to develop cards to show that you did do your verified volunteers. So when you're out in the field doing work with the children, you have that card that would show that you cleared to be around our kids.
Yeah, because for us, it's ultimate safety that we're talking about. With this world we're living in, this is not when we were growing up. We want to make sure that all of our children's ministries leaders will be able to know who should be around their young people. And so it's very important for us to bring in risk management. We also want to bring in the president, for those who want to have a conversation with the president.
And we probably could bring the treasurer in sometimes.
And the treasurer.
Say something.
That's true. We have Marcellus Robinson, who is Stewardship. And we just want to make sure that all of our young people, children, young people, and our leaders are well connected with Allegheny East Conference. Don't forget, you'll always know everything that we have to do when you go to our website, www.visitaec.com. Everything is there. And remember to stay close to our children and our youth department so that you'll have all the information that you need.
Good.
You know what we didn't do?
What?
We didn't pray.
Hey, it's never too late.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. Right now.
Let's bow our heads, close our eyes for prayer as we get into this information. God, we just want to thank you for being with us. I thank you for the opportunity of being able to get to our children and youth constituents. And we're asking you, Lord, that these ministries, as we plan, that as your servant says, that we will rightly train, we just ask you, God, to be with us, waiting for your soon coming. Be with us through this next hour. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. So I think we're pretty much where we need to be. If you will, kind of like explain to our folks the structure of where we are.
All right. Many of you probably have seen our chart before.
Well, the last chart. I want to talk about the last chart. The last chart we had, it was like
The first one?
The first. The first chart we had was a little bit different. It was almost like in flow chart.
Right. Top
type,
come down.
Right. And somebody went against my wishes and changed it to look a little bit different. A little bit different. Our producers will put it up on the way the chart is. So as you're looking at our chart now, you could explain it, how the chart.
Right now, you
goes.
see that is in a circular format. The reason why we did this now is to not be on top of everybody going down, but we're in the middle and just putting information out and everybody's surrounding. So we are working together in a circle.
Right.
I would start with the youth council.
Sure.
Well, what we have now in each of our subsidiaries, we have executive coordinators. Well, we don't have all of them set up yet, but we're working on getting there. We have Pathfinder coordinator, we have the adventurer coordinator, we have master guide, we have all our federation coordinators that's in our 6 areas.
Right.
We also have our Bible Bowl coordinator and sports coordinator.
Right.
And just recently, we have now our children's ministry coordinator. We're going to talk a little bit more about the children's ministry section of that.
Right.
But those executive coordinators, along with both of us, we sit as a council and coordinate all the different ministries that we have to make sure everything is in sync and we're all working together to meet the needs of our children and youth.
Mm-hmm. I think also what we need to recognize, I want everyone to know that council it's a larger council. We meet about maybe 3-4 times a year. That's not the one that we meet every month. You'll hear as we go along. But that youth council kind of keeps us engaged, making sure that those things that we have planned fall into succession as we go along. So the youth council is very important. Matter of fact, I know we're going to be talking about the dates that's coming up, but we still kind of wanted you to know how it works out. So let's leave out of the council and go to the next.
But before we do that,
Okay.
I think we probably should say the ministries that fall under our department.
Okay,
Because some
right.
people think it's just Pathfinder
Right.
and Adventurous.
Right. I think that's important. I think anytime people say, okay, we have our youth department, it's youth department, now we're changing to ministries because
Right.
we don't want to call it
association
department.
and-
We took out all of our associations.
Associations,
We had adventure associations, Pathfinder association, and notice every time we're speaking, we're always talking about Pathfinders, adventurers. But we have 13 subsidiaries that we work with in the youth department, and I know them, but Orion is going to reel them off to you.
No, you go ahead. You start.
Okay,
and
I'll start.
Yeah.
Pathfinders.
Adventurers.
So we got Pathfinders. It's 13, right? We have Pathfinders. Help me out. Adventurers.
We have the young adults.
Young adults.
We have the youth, AY.
AY, which are the federations.
Correct.
Which are the federations. Don't get mixed up towards what is AY and what are federations. We have a federation leader in every area, and Allegheny East have 6 areas, and those areas are, come on, from north
Let's
to
go.
south.
North Jersey,
New Jersey.
Delaware Valley.
That's right, Delaware Valley.
Bay Area.
Come on, you can do better. Bay Area.
Metro.
area.
Baltimore. And Virginia.
And Virginia. Is that 6?
I got you.
I think that's 5.
No, you can't go.
That's 6 areas altogether, and we have 1 in those federations that's
Right.
there. I'm not sure how much we counted. We said Pathfinders, Adventurers, young adults,
We have Master Guides.
Master Guys, that's 4.
Children's Ministries.
Children's Ministries,
Bible
5.
Bowl.
Bible Bowls, 6.
Sports.
Sports,
I Serve.
I Serve, that's
NSO,
right.
National Service Organization.
National Service Organization.
Campus Ministries.
Campus Ministries, that's 10. Sabbath
Sure
School,
that's 10 or 11?
that's 10.
Anyway,
Sabbath
Children
School.
and Youth Sabbath School.
Children and Youth Sabbath School, which is actually 11 and 12. I think we're missing something somewhere. Come on.
Those, right.
Just to let you know, there's so many parts, moving parts when it comes to the youth department, and we work hard every day. We even work on our vacations. But we do find that it's absolutely necessary to make sure that all of these ministries are working together.
Right.
Okay? So those are the 13, and those are the leaders that also make up that council that you started off that was talking about, or the leaders that we meet together, so that everything could be moving
Right.
in succession.
So every executive coordinator for
Right.
all those ministries
Right.
form that youth council.
Right, right. Which is then now governed by the ministerium.
Every area, right.
Right? Did I skip something?
No, from that is, right,
Right.
the areas, correct.
Okay.
You're good.
So carefully, what we want you to know is that that is the way that the governance is made up within the Allegheny East Children's and Youth Department, but yet it still has to be from the people to the conference. So when we're looking at each area, we call out all the 6 areas, and all of those 6 areas have a youth liaison,
Right.
which is a pastor, an employee, a youth liaison,
And the federation coordinator.
and the federation coordinator. They work together.
Right.
And everything that they need, everything that they ask for, from finances to contracts, gymnasiums, etc., all of those things are needed, and those are passed or they're looked over from the ministerium standpoint.
Right, for each area.
For each area, all right? Which is why some people will ask then, what is the use of the youth department as the youth department looks at that chart? I know that we're smack in the middle, but what we're supposed to be at this moment, we're supposed to be the resources
Correct.
for all of those things that are needed. Go ahead.
So when you, in your area, in your different areas, and something comes up, and you talk to your ministerium, you get certain things approved, and they come to us if they need some extra training, they need some extra finances, they need
Right.
some information
Right.
as to how to get something done.
Right.
They connect with us, and we work it out so that everything in the area is working well.
Right. Before we even get into the dates and all of those things that's going on, we want everyone to get an understanding of how this works out. So, which is one of the reasons why we want to bring stewardship in. It's because our expectation is that the finance committee of the conference is the one that gives us the finances that we need to spread out, or the resources that we need to spread out. Which is one of the reasons why in one of our shows that we have coming up, I want to talk about tithing. I want to talk about stewardship and giving back, because one of the things that we're hearing from everyone is that all of these organizations are being taxed. We've heard it before.
Right.
So in other words, you got dues for Pathfinders,
Right.
dues for Adventurers, dues for Bible Bowl, dues for all of these different factions that we have. And so what we want to be able to do is to let you know how those finances actually work. So we take out November and December of our time to plan for the next year.
Right.
Right. So 2019 is planned out, and of course we have OSHKOSH, which is a big part of pathfindering, which is heavy on us because the conference does a whole lot in financing the Pathfinders to go. What we're looking for you to understand is that those finances that come in, we have to use those resources to disperse those finances among these among the 13 divisions that we have, 12, 13 divisions that we have. So the more that you plan, Federation plans, Pathfinders plan, all of the organizations plan, then we will know exactly what it is that need to come in so that resources can go back out. So some people will call and say, hey, I haven't seen anything happen in the New Jersey area, or I haven't seen anything happen in certain areas. Well, it's not, we at the conference level do not plan
Area stuff.
area events
Right.
or programming, which we discussed before. We talked about events and programming, but there also should be an evangelism component to everything that we do, because we're after saving souls,
That's
right? Unchurched and saving souls and keeping our young people in the church. So I wanted to add in there really how that works out, so that they have to go back to the conference or back to the ministerium, so that the ministerium will approve these items so that they'll have the events that they need. When we get down to the end, we're going to be talking about sports.
Okay.
And so I really want to talk to our pastors, our churches, about the sports part of it. But let's go ahead and jump in. You have anything you wanted to add?
With the floor chat, I think we've covered practically all of that. In each area, when you look at the federation, let me just explain the area
Sure.
a little bit. So every area
You
has...
want to explain the federation better than the way I explained it?
No, I'm doing something different.
Okay, go ahead.
Every area has a federation coordinator, and for all the ministries that we have area coordinators.
Right.
All those area coordinators sit on the federation committee.
Right.
So that all the activities and events, when they come together, they could coordinate to make sure there's no conflicts going on and everybody is working together in the area. And they also have the treasurer and other officers that sit as executive. A very important part of this federation committee is the AY leaders.
Wow, I missed that. I did miss that. Okay, so you already got me burning by saying AY leaders. No, you got. So here's one of the problems that we have when we're dealing with when we're dealing with AY. We're not having AYS programming the way we used to have MV and AYS programming anymore, and we have to do better with that. Why? Some people may say, oh, and we've heard them before, oh, why we don't do AY anymore. But at least every church, come on, agree with me on this.
Go ahead.
Every church should have some kind of youth programming.
Something.
We have given even, I don't want to call it permission, but leeway into even changing the name if you want to.
Right.
But I don't care if you call it Youth Explosion. I don't care if you do it on a Friday night. Matter of fact, we do have tips coming up on how we want that to be done. But here's what. Every church needs to have a youth and children's component connected to it in order for us to be able to give resources.
Right.
So you got me when you said AY, because we're finding that there are a lot of churches who are not having AY programming. There's a difference between having the society and having the programming.
And just throw it in here too that some people change up the names and change up the structure of AY, and it's okay.
Right.
The key is to have something for your young people. However, we need to have a church contact that would sit on the federation. So you might not have an AY leader, but you might have a youth ministries coordinator or something. That person needs to sit on the federation committee so that the information that we pass down from the conference level gets to the church.
So, for example, we have a few of our churches, and we can name a couple of our churches that work with us tight. They're pretty good with us. Germantown, for example. Let's use Germantown, for example. I know Calvary is like that. Metro Church is like this also, where they have a youth leader, but they have a youth...
like a committee.
A committee that run that youth leader. So what gets lost sometimes is that when we send out information, where's the information going? Is it going to the youth ministry leader, or is it going to the youth AY leader?
Right.
So there's another tier that's there, and we don't have a problem with that. Our job is not to tell the local church what to do.
Right.
What we're trying to do is to resource you. So no matter where you are, every church should have a representative that's sitting on that federation. All right, and one of the things we're saying, people normally feel that the federation leader controls everything. They used to be called federation presidents. Right. So what do we call them now? We call them coordinators now, so that their monthly meetings, while they're being held, those monthly meetings, those AY leaders must be on those monthly meetings so that they can get the information from us and we can receive information from the local churches. So we're here to actually outfit the local churches through the federation and through the ministerium. Is that what I have forgotten to say?
No. I mean, remember, we tag teaming. So
okay, go ahead.
What you don't remember, I got you.
What I don't remember, you'll forget.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we're looking at the federation committee. So all these people sit together and they coordinate and plan. That's where you do your area events.
Right.
The AY leaders and everybody might decide to have a Federation Day,
Yes.
when the Pathfinders, Adventurers, Bible Bowl, they have something in the afternoon, they do outreach work, whatever it is, but they sit together as a committee. And of course, the youth liaison, which is the pastor, sits there, gets all the information, and takes that information back to the ministerial.
Right.
So the pastors are aware. But it is still important for the AY leaders that's there to still go back and make sure they tell the pastors. So the
Right.
pastors are hearing it from two sides.
That's right.
So no
right.
matter what happens, that information is reaching to the pastors in the
Oh,
ministry.
and why that's important is because pastors are busy.
Right.
Okay, anytime we have our meetings, we hear from you. You say, oh, my pastor doesn't care about the youth, or my pastor doesn't care about children. You know, you have to remember that pastors, they have a large, they have a whole, even in a small church, there's still so much that they have to do. You almost have to tug at them every now and then. So if they're being tugged on the local church through the AY
Everybody's
leaders,
department. Let's remember.
hold on, right? Everybody from Bible Bowl, if everybody's tugging on them, the pastor wants his church to succeed. So let's remember that as we want the church to succeed, please talk to your pastors. Keep that open information. I don't know any pastor, and please don't write me with this, but I don't know any pastor who says, I don't care about young people.
they don't.
I want to push them to the side. So please, whatever you do, stay in contact with them so that while the liaison is hitting them at those meetings, those monthly
Right.
meetings, you're also hitting them at the local church. Can I just add one more thing?
Sure.
AY programming could be any time. Back in the day when we were growing up, we used to do it 1 hour before sunset, which we used to put into Vespers, right?
Right.
But we need to be able, I know one church, for example, that have it on Wednesday nights. While their parents go to Wednesday night prayer meetings,
They have something else.
they
for
have
you.
something else, right? So we want to be able to be flexible.
Right, that's the right.
Is that right? We want to be flexible with our programming. There's a difference between the society and difference between the programming, all right, that we want to put together. Okay.
And as we come with more talk shows like this, we're going to focus some more on AY, because we have a lot to share for
Sure.
AY programming, being creative, how to reach our young people and stuff. So just keep connected to us.
Sure. So,
I think we've covered the flow chart.
so where are we? The flow chart. Okay.
No, we finished with that now.
Okay, so we're
Let's
good.
move right
Now,
along.
before we get into all that, I don't want to forget about the losses that we've had.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Many people have been calling our office trying to figure out what's going to happen this Sunday coming up. And this Sunday coming up, we are having a service for Pastor Claude Harris. Some of us call him Papa Bear. If you are on social media, you'll see it hashtag Papa Bear everywhere. But he has been the youth director for 16, 17 years and always cared about the youth. So we want everybody to know that we want all the Pathfinders out there in Class A.
And adventurous.
I'm sorry, Pathfinders and Adventurers in Class A uniforms. Even though he was the youth director for everyone, man, he was special about those Pathfinders and Adventurers. So we want everyone to show up at Sligo. All right, we'll make sure that we'll put it on our page, on our Facebook page, etc. And I know that this is probably this is going to be on our visit.org, visitaec.org. But we want everyone to be there at Sligo, and we want the Pathfinder organization
And
to be,
adventurers.
and adventurers to be.
Go ahead.
We want the Pathfinders and the Adventurer organization to be there at 9 o'clock.
Right.
We want to give this guy the highest respect. I mean, we're going to see him again in the kingdom, but we want to give him the highest honor that we want this. So we are talking about processing in him in we're going to honor God for him
Right.
during the viewing and a couple of gifts that we want to give to the family. So what we want everyone to know is that if you're a master guide, if you were a master guide, if you served under him, please let's be ready to be there at 9 o'clock. We also lost
One of our Pathfinder
one of our
directors.
Pathfinder directors in a terrible trucking accident in North Carolina. Some people wanted to know about that also. We still have to hold off. Not being insensitive, I did talk to his wife, and she wanted everyone to know that she wants a full Pathfinder memorial service when it comes. But it was a terrible accident, and it's taking some time for the logistics to be worked out. And so we're letting you know her name is Amber Stackhouse. You can find her on Facebook. Just send her a message. His name is Greg Stackhouse, and we're looking to have a memorial service for him at the Berea Temple in Baltimore, Maryland. But we will bring you up to speed on that. So we just want to let you know about these 2 funerals and memorial services that's coming up. And please look on our website for how to send flowers, etc., condolences to the family.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, we went to Albuquerque.
Yep.
The North American Division Children's Ministry Department had its yearly convention there, where they showcased the VBX for the year.
Right.
And it was something good. You want to share a little bit?
Well, first of all, I would like all churches, even if they do not have a VBX a part of their church, which is Vacation Bible School, we would like you to partner with the closest churches possible so that our kids can learn. This one was an awesome VBX. I enjoyed. You want to show the video first, and then?
But before we do that,
okay,
just talk about our children's ministry department, because you know we talked about the ministry,
right?
And we're now expanding, I should say, our ministry. So just say a little bit about that, and we could go into the VBX for this year.
We've always looked at children's ministries, or some churches look at children's ministries as children's story. It's bigger than that. It's huge. We want to now be intentional about how we minister to the children of Allegheny East Conference. We're talking about church now. We're not talking about education. One of these days we'll bring in the education department so we could discuss how we want to tie everything in together. But our children's ministries, what we did in order to bring everybody under one umbrella, if we go back to the way the chart is written, we have a director, a coordinator, and out of the 6 areas, we have 6 different children's ministries coordinators within those areas so that they could be connected to the churches. The same way those of you who understand how we have Pathfinders and we have the coordinators for Pathfinders, the coordinators for the Adventures, etc., we now have the coordinators for children's ministries. We have Roderick Cunningham, who is located in the metro area. We 3 of us went to children's ministries in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we want to make sure everybody is certified. I know we were talking about not Shield of Honor, but I keep saying Shield of Honor, but verified volunteers. It's not just for the safety aspect of it, but what are we teaching our children? What are we teaching our children who have special needs? And so we went on this trip, and what we wanted to do is to make sure that as we're coming back, that we're going to share that with every children's ministry leader in all of our 100 and something churches that we have out there, and we're ready to be able to do that. So we do have a meeting that's coming up February 9th, where we will make sure that everyone will know who these leaders are so that you can get in contact with each one of those leaders. Let me just pause for a second to let those of you know who are online now or who are watching, that in the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to be taking calls. So if you have certain questions that we have talked about right now that you want to go over, please don't forget to call into the number. I hope I could remember it, which is 301-575-8081. I'm going to say it one more time. 301, it's 575-8081. So if you have any questions, please just call us up. And the operator, please remember to mention your name, and where you're calling from, and which church you're from, so that we'll have an idea of where we're going. Children's ministries, you want to add anything else on? We're talking about children's ministries.
Let's leave that for now, because we need to talk a little bit about Sabbath School. children's Sabbath school.
Okay, so before we get to the VBX,
Okay.
go ahead. There's been some changes.
Right. So in the past, the Sabbath school department used to cover the entire Sabbath school realm, from beginners
Right.
to adults.
To adults.
In the last couple of years, they have made some changes where the children and youth department are now responsible for children and youth Sabbath school.
Okay.
So of course, added to our responsibilities is now the children and youth Sabbath school, which we take with open arms.
Right.
So you would now see that for resources, trainings, sorry, our department will do that, take care of that. And we have one.
But here's where my problem have come in. Since we started this, many people ask, well, what's the difference? What's going to happen with my Sabbath school leader who has been there? Can you expound on that? What's the difference? Because it looks like there's a split there.
A lot of the questions probably come in with finances.
Right, that's true.
Who's going to pay for the quarterlies? Do we have to separate the whole thing? And how would that work? So what we are doing in Allegheny East, each church will still keep that structure that they had before, where the adult Sabbath school or whoever is the senior Sabbath superintendent, that's responsible for making sure all the classes have their quarterlies, all of that will still stay as it is.
Right. We need to make sure they understand that.
Stay as
stay
is.
where you are.
So the structure in the local church remains the same.
Right.
The difference comes in is for those from beginners to youth Sabbath school, when they need to get training on specific how to teach children, if we have special needs kids, whatever that is, then they will come to us to get that resource.
Right. Or better yet, we offer it. So wherever area, and that's coming up. We're going to give all the dates that's coming up, and you'll see the list of our dates as we come through. But I want them to know that all we're here for now is to resource and train. And we're working with Elder Brathwaite, who's dealing with the Sabbath school, the adult Sabbath school side of it. But we want to make sure that we have a boost.
Right.
To make sure that we rebuild Sabbath school from beginners to the youth department. And that's why North American Division has revamped it, where they've put it now in the youth department to be able to handle it that way. Are we good?
I'm good.
Okay.
So if you have any questions about that, you could always ask us later on, but we will probably now show the
VBX?
VBX.
Okay, let's go to VBX, and so that we can take a look at, VBX is here. Here we go.
Get ready for summer fun in Jamii Kingdom.
So we're gonna take a break.
At this Vacation Bible School, kids will have fun, learning how we are all a part of God's big family, while exploring an African savanna and making friends. Begin and end each day at VBS with songs, skits, and Bible pals at Indava Place. Discover a new Bible story each day at Habari Hut. And connect with God through prayer at Ekbede Experience. Play energetic games that reinforce each day's Bible lesson at Furaha Field. Enjoy healthy snacks that taste great at Mapera Meza. Show your creative side by making crafts at Sanaa Site. Kids will love all this and more at Jamii Kingdom VBS.
Well, we're back, and I think it's going to be great. I just love the whole African motif to it, and we had a good time.
Yeah, we did.
We had a great time.
Learning some new words.
Yeah. And I think that it was the excitement that we had learning how to do it. We have to do a training.
Yeah, it's important.
I've seen some churches. I'm gonna call out a small one. I'm not, when I say small one, a small size church.
Walnut Street.
Walnut Street. When Walnut Street did their VBX, Breath of Life. It's like you walked in to whatever it was that the theme was that time. And so we want to make sure that we're able to have gifts. We want to give some gifts away of the VBX that's coming up. And we want everyone to support the Adventists that have put this together. I know they have some great ones in the Baptist churches, etc. But I just want us to be able to look at this first.
Right.
I loved it when they went from the different stations to the different stations. And I think this will be great. So please, before you look outside, let's check this one out. See how you like it. And I think that it was awesome.
We're going to try to do a training for our leaders in our area where we bring you together and we do like one day.
Yeah.
And you just see and experience the day traveling through the whole experience. And it will help them to understand. So when you go back to do it in your churches, you will have that first-hand touch.
I know we have a lot of dates coming, but I think that we should pick one before camp meeting.
Yes.
Because one of the changes that's going to occur at camp meeting is that our children's ministries department, I keep saying department.
Children's ministries.
Children's ministries. Our children's ministries will be bringing the VBX there, or whichever what they plan. And I think it would be great for not only the training to be done, but to come to camp meeting to actually see this thing happen. And remember, we also have a camp meeting, a part of a camp meeting show that we want everyone to know what our expectations are with the federations for camp meeting. I know time is kind of running, so and there are phone calls that need to come in. What I want us to do right now is to go through these dates.
Okay.
So what I'd like for you to do is that if you have a pen handy or et cetera, you can go ahead and write it down as we go along, or you could wait until afterwards and you'll see it on our webpage.
We put it on the webpage, and we'll also put it on the Facebook page.
And we'll put it on the Facebook page.
So that you could see. We did send out some days, but we had to make a few adjustments.
Right.
So we will update you as we go along.
Right.
So coming up in February is our youth council meeting. We talked about the youth council.
Right.
So February 2nd and 3rd, our youth council will be coming together to get their plans, our plans straight.
Right.
February 9th, we have the Children's Ministries Committee. All the area children's ministry coordinators will be sitting for the first time to organize and see where we're going with children's ministries in Allegheny East.
Right.
Then we have some area trainings. You want to touch those? The church ministry
the area
trainings?
training. So what we want to do, normally we have our Pathfinder trainings and our Adventure of Master Guides training. That's all going to be together down in April. But that's coming up. But what we're doing now, because we are dealing with the Sabbath School training, check your pastors for the area trainings that's going on. We'll be going from different areas. The dates are out there already.
It's on the website to register.
It's going to be on the website, yes, and you should register. There's an Eventbrite out for you to register because they're going to be also feeding us for lunchtime. So we want to know the numbers before we do it. But we're looking for beginner Sabbath School all the way to youth Sabbath School. That's what we'll be taking care of, and we want you to be there so that we'll have the opportunity of teaching and sharing.
Right.
Because we want to hear from you too. All right, so those dates will be out there also.
Just February 10th, quickly, it will be New Jersey.
Right.
February 17th, we will be Delaware Valley. That's going to be at Pine Forge.
Right. And
March,
Delaware Valley and
Bay Area
will be together here at Pine Forge.
March 10th, we will be in the Metro Baltimore area.
Right.
March 17th, we will be in the Virginia area with these trainings.
Right. Now, the rest of the church ministries are coming together.
Right.
But and they have the different departments that's going to be going on there. I think the elders are also going to be meeting during that time. But this is children and youth ministries.
That's right.
so we
make
want
sure
you to come out for our Sabbath School training. Please come on out for our Sabbath School training. Hey, youth retreat. Yeah. For a couple of years now, we've been having youth retreat. Excellent. 150 or so kids will be coming out. What date is that?
April 5 to 7.
April 5th to the 7th. We want you to come out. We didn't have it last year.
Right, we had some.
Right, we had some difficulties from last year. But please, and I know you told me, let's not cancel it, and we still had a great number of people that wanted to come.
Right.
So I'm sorry about that from last year, but we want
Still doing that hardcore though.
Yep, it's going to be hardcore. Listen, parents, we're going to be discussing some things that we need to discuss with our young people. So we're going to have the registrations out.
Should be up in about 2 weeks,
Right,
a week or
about
so,
2
right?
weeks the registration is going to be out. We'll send you a reminder to all the children
Flyers,
in
everything.
AY. It's going to be from 14 years old to 18 years old.
18.
Those who want to send their children there that's younger than 14 years old, you have to send a consent so that we'll know a disclaimer. We'll put out the disclaimer. No, but we need to touch those subjects that
Right.
need to be touched. We're going to be talking
lot of
about
things
drugs,
happening.
alcohol. We're talking about sexual behaviors, etc. We want to be able to discuss these things, and of course, all these things are wrapped up in spirituality and prayer. So we do want you to come out. Please, our young people. There's seats right now for 150. But I do want to add on that there is a Haitian youth retreat that comes on Easter
weekend.
right? And that time, our Haitian brethren come out in droves,
Full
all
force.
right? But we still want all of our people to come together. This is not just our regional black conference. Allegheny East is African American. Allegheny East is blessed. We have our Korean brethren. Come on, name them. We have our
Haitian,
Spanish brethren. We have our
Spanish,
Haitian brethren.
Africans.
Name them all the way down. Our African brethren. We all need to come together. So when you sign up, if we have to stretch it to be more than 150, we can go ahead and do that, but we want to plan right.
Right.
Okay?
One more date we need to give them before we move on is our AY officers training.
Yes.
We had to change the date because of the weather last week, and our date now is March 9th.
9th.
This is very important.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that
Yes.
AY officers training.
This is something we wanted to happen earlier. That's why we wanted every AY leader,
Right.
right? Please check your inboxes. All AY leaders.
And the other officers in
Well,
AY, everybody.
True, but our AY don't
Is
really
more
count, so I
important.
need to push for them. All of our AY leaders. That means that if we have 150 churches, we're expecting 150 AY leaders
That's
to be
right.
out there.
That's right.
And we're expecting your leaders, your other leaders to come with you, those who work with
In-
you.
right, in
So
that
it's not
department.
just the AY leaders coming out to this, but
If you're a
we'll-
chorister,
Yep.
if you're a secretary,
Yep.
whatever you do in the AY department, you need to be there.
I know they don't remember this, but if you're a scribe, if you're anyone of everybody who
Team
works within
leader,
your
yes.
team need to be at this
Training.
that's coming up. Listen, we have this thing that we say, no red lights. We're not stopping at no red lights, and Satan is putting up red lights everywhere for us not to be able to train our young people. So please come on out. That's March 9th. We want every AY leader to be out there, right?
Beautiful.
So
Gosh.
we are at, where are we?
Let's really skip off,
So-
gosh, 'cause-
So here we are. We are at, oh my goodness.
yeah, we gotta go to the cause.
All right, so listen, what we're gonna do now, we're gonna go ahead and take calls. But before we go to the calls, I do want to talk about OSHKOSH.
Okay.
How many tickets are left?
Yesterday, what today is Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday, I saw they had 10,000 tickets left. Today, we heard that there were 7,000.
7,000 tickets left, and that's 50,000 tickets that's out there. We want everyone to be able to come on out to OSHKOSH. I mean, a lot of people are waiting, thinking that it's going to wait for the last minute. Do not wait. Do not wait for the last minute. I think the last time we were trying to scalp find tickets all over the place. Let's not do that. Allegheny East right now has about 1,200 tickets that we
Yes.
bought. Okay? So we just want you to know there's about 7,000 tickets that's left. Here's what I would like to do. I would like to just show the OSHKOSH video and
Okay,
then go
and then we go
and then
to our
we go
calls.
straight to is that all right? So let's go ahead and show the OSHKOSH video, and then after the OSHKOSH video, let's deal with the phone calls that we have. All right? We're going right now to our OSHKOSH video.
I really like the fact that we can meet people from all over the world.
That's what we've already planned. Everyone here wants to come back again. It's just, we've had the time of our lives here. It's been great.
Right now, this is something that you do not,
Want to miss?
you don't want to miss
Well, this will be my first time.
Is it really? Is
Yes.
it?
So
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
excited. You remember?
That's right. That's right.
Let's not.
Hey, that's
go
right.
back to
I
where
just
was
hired
from.
you.
Yeah, stop
No,
it.
no, no. No, no, no. This thing is remarkable.
Yeah, I've heard.
50,000 kids, baptisms. Matter of fact, I'll ask some of our pastors, if you want to wait for them to be baptized there. It's a great experience,
Okay.
Once you're there. And keep up with the newsletters on the CIC Camporee.
Right.
Just look it up, Google it, you'll
Yeah.
see that it's excellent out there. I think we have a caller that's in. Let's see. We have a caller, our own Jenny Moore. Let's see if we can hear Jenny. Jenny, you there?
Hi, I'm here. How are you?
Doing fine, doing fine, doing fine. Jenny, I just want to thank you for everything that you're doing so far. We did mention the funeral coming up. Thank you very much for keeping our Pathfinders together for Honor Guard. Any questions that you think some of your constituents would be asking?
Sure. You did mention that the tickets are running out. I think it was like at 7,100 left, something like that. So the question I have for our clubs, or what if they miss the deadline? Because, you know, I'm always checking. We got about 70% of our clubs registered already, but we still got 30% who need to register. So if they happen to miss the deadline, will they be able to contact your office to get any tickets?
If they missed the deadline, let's see, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 2024.
Is the next OSHKOSH?
You know, you know, Jenny, what we are, and I have to say that our treasury is very gracious, but we do need everyone to push to buy their tickets as soon as possible. I think the last time we had about 1,400 people that's out there, but we really need to push. We don't want to miss those deadlines. Let's do the best we can to catch them. We'll be finishing up our purchases, but let's continue to push our clubs to go ahead and purchase them.
And probably what they need to do too, if they're having any financial difficulties now purchasing, they need to keep an eye on that number.
Right.
Just keep an eye on that number and maybe even ask the church to sponsor them for a little bit, a month or.
No, you're still on.
You're here.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
To ask the church
Go ahead.
ask the church to probably give them a advance so that they could purchase the tickets before they miss out on them.
Right. It would be good at this moment.
Oh, that's important.
Yeah, what we'll probably do with that, Jenny, is we'll probably send out something to pastors from the department and ask them to probably set aside something, because I'm going to tell you now, they do not want to miss. They don't want to miss this. This is something that comes around every 5 years. You know it. You've been at the last three, and those that were not even at OSHKOSH, you've been at. So we need to be able to push our churches to make sure
Right.
that everyone will get those tickets. We'll do the best we can to go for extras. What I don't want you all to, us to do is to wait for the last minute, because I know that there are tickets that were bought out there that they want to sell after, but we don't want to get involved in that right now. What we want to do is to make sure that that they buy their tickets
Right.
early. We want to make sure of that.
And the earlier they buy the tickets, the better that we can get the spacing that we need.
Make sure that that the space that's there, it's according to the tickets that we buy. So if you don't buy the tickets now and you buy it from scalpers
lose the
later,
space.
the space is going to be too small to fit us in.
Correct.
Yeah. Any other?
The only other question I can think of that our clubs would be interested in is the pallets. I believe the pallet deadline passed, but as some clubs who are still trying to purchase tickets who may not have got to the pallet issue, are you still taking reservations by any chance?
We're taking reservations up to Sunday.
Yeah, you know, we're not asking for the money right away.
Right.
Okay? And that's one of the most important things that we have to understand. We're not asking for the money right away. We're asking for us to reserve it.
Right.
All right? Because we're trying to get the 18-wheeler out there, and I think people are not getting the understanding of what the Palate is. So it's $200 for a pallet 6x4 up to about 6.5, 7 feet. You could fit as many things as you can on that pallet. So, and remember that it's going to be driven there and it's going to come back to your area.
Right.
So we're going to keep it open. Remember, we're not asking for the money right now.
Right. The reason why we want to know, because suppose we have every club saying that they need 1-2 pallets. We might end up having 2 trailers instead of 1.
Right.
So if we know now, then we could plan accordingly. That's why we want to get that straight. Once we get that straight and we know exactly how many trailers we need, then we will come out and say some more specifics.
Right.
Probably give you some samples, tell you where you could get pallets from, where we're going to pick up, how you're going to pack it, shrink wrap, and all those other things.
Okay, because the clubs have to make sure that they know they got to bubble wrap it themselves and have it done like a week in advance before we even leave.
Right, because someone is going to come through and pick it up from the different areas. But we want to make sure that, our stewardship is right. We don't want to pick up some things from one area and some things from another area, and it's like one church. We're really trying to get like 30 pallets on one truck.
Right.
So if we had 30 clubs saying that they can do it, we'll go ahead and run ahead and do it. But it's not going to be cost effective for us to have like 10 pallets. It's not just not going to. Now, don't forget though, we still have our executives stuff that needs to go up. So that's why we need to be able to plan this thing correctly.
So when you're saying 30, you mean 30 pallets or 30 clubs?
30 pallets. That's where we're really going to fill one of them.
Some churches asking for 2 pallets.
Right. Some churches need 2 pallets in order to go up. There's no way that you're going to be able to fit all those things in a van to be able to go up there. So we're just trying to provide that that for everyone.
Okay. Well, we're at about 27, I think now, so we're almost at our target.
Good. That's good. That's good. I'm sure Treasury is going to want to know that. Listen, thanks a lot for calling in. I want to take one more call, and then we're going to have to wrap up. Thanks, Jenny, for all your hard work. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, too.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye now. Oh. I just hung up on someone, and actually, Raj, if you please call back, I'll pick you up right away. That's my itchy finger right there. Thanks, Jenny, for calling in. We saw Roderick that was just calling in. Roger, go ahead and call back in, please. But in the meanwhile, while we wait on him, I do want our adventurous pathfinders, our front line, to know that the steps to Christ are still out there. Especially in the metro area and the New Jersey area, we still have the Steps to Christ that's out there that we really want it to be distributed. One of the things that we want to happen as far as that is concerned is to make sure that they report.
Right.
All right, that's one of the things that's important. When we give these things out, it's fine. We want to give them out like tracts are being given out. But when they're given out, we want to know where they've been, how many have been distributed. And I think that we can add that on to some of the videos that we're going to be putting out for.
Right. We want to know what happened. Some of you might have had certain experiences with people getting those Steps to Christ books, and they might have attend your church or come to the crusade or whatever you have. We just need to know so that when we planning again in our evangelism aspect for our ministry, we know what to do. Do we still continue this? Do we come up with something else? Because evangelism is key.
What is ministry
That's what we're
without
here for.
evangelism? One of the things we want to stop doing is having a bunch of events. Or, we don't run a circus here. We want to make sure that evangelism is first and foremost. Thank you, Roger, for calling back. I'm sorry for hanging up on you after a great time that we spent in New Mexico.
Hey, Pat, it's excellent show, man. Now, I just wanted to toss in a question here. If you could speak a little bit about the resources that we have available for new children's ministry leaders.
One more time, Rod.
Ask him to repeat it.
Repeat it, Rod. You said, repeat it again, please.
What resources are available for new children's ministry leaders in the local church?
Okay, so what we're putting together, we want to get some packages like a kit, because we have some directors, especially with the turn of the year when new officers come in place. We want to have some kits in place where they could get description of what they're doing.
Right. Right. I got it now.
Not just that children's ministry is children's story,
Right.
but children's ministry includes the children's church, children's choir, coordinated, even adventurers, having them work with you, and different programs that you do for children. So we want to just explain all that can happen in the church with children's ministry. Once we get our executive meeting together, we get our area coordinators together, and we put that together. We'll have it available. It could be electronically, or some people like to have hard copies. We'll also have those things available. So when you call in and you say that. And also, this is another thing that we pushing now. Some churches have special needs.
Right.
And we're willing to come to your church to host or do different trainings or tackle different things that you need special to your church. We bring in our children's ministry leaders, our coordinators, along with us. We come in there and we do whatever training or assistance. We will come in on Sabbath mornings and help you teach a class or show something. I mean, we're hands-on. We're not just talking and doing, but we want to get there, sit down on the ground, do the whatever you need, we're here to do that. So those are the things that we coming up with for our children, and not only for the children's ministry, but all our ministries.
Right.
We want an AY program. We'll come in. We have AY programs in our closet that we could come and do some programs for you. Whatever it is that you need.
We'll be able to help you out.
So those are the things that we have coming for our children's ministries.
Yeah. We have one more caller that's on. Sister Davis, you're on from Capitol Hill. Go ahead, please. Davis from Capitol Hill.
Hello? Hi, sorry. Hello? Thank you guys so much for doing this. It's very helpful. I have a very quick question. Could you repeat the dates for that youth retreat?
The youth retreat
that was in April, I believe you said.
Right. The youth retreat coming up is April 5th to the 7th. We're going to send everything out.
Okay.
The theme is called Hardcore. And we're also, normally when we used to do it, we used to ask chaperones. We used to ask chaperones not to come. But now we're asking for chaperones, please come. It's hardcore. It's April 5th to the 7th. And we're expecting our kids to come out between 14 and 18 years old.
Okay, great. Thank you. That was very helpful.
Problem. We'll have the registration
up soon. Yes.
That'll be up soon. And tell your pastor that we said hi.
Will do. Thank you, guys.
All right. Have a good one. So we've come down to the end of our programming, and this is, like I said before at the very beginning, this is something that we want to do monthly unless something comes up on a 2-week basis. Our plans is to get better and better.
That's right.
At this. But we just wanted to share this with you. We're going to try to do this. We know once a month, so stay connected to us so that we'll know everything that's going on.
I think we had a date for our next show.
A next show that was coming up?
Let me see here. Yeah, I think we were looking in February 12th.
Looking at February 12th as our next one. But no matter what, you will know exactly what that's going to be like.
So you could keep that date marked February 12th for our next show, and we have some nice topics that we're looking at. If there's something that you
That's right.
want us to talk about,
That's right.
you send an email or you call us at the office and just let us know, and we'll be willing to discuss that and share with you on these talk shows.
Listen, another thing is that this is our first one, and we would, it would be crazy for us not to thank our AEC media team
yes.
for, I think,
They took away some sleepless
yeah,
nights, hours.
they sure helped us out with this thing. And I'm going to tell you, they kind of put this rig together very quick in like a couple of hours for us, if not less. So we want to thank Charles Williams from the AEC team for helping us, and
Bryce.
For producing. We're going to thank Bryce Williams for producing for us. We just want to thank you guys for that.
Awesome.
And again, anything you want to know, just please call us. We'll be able to answer your call at your when she's ready. Call her. Thank you, everybody.
All
God
right,
bless
nice.
you.
Have a
God
good
bless you.
evening.
Real good.